Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be doing another romance hot take video. These type of videos, I normally talk about interesting hot takes going on in the romance community, and today I'm going to be talking about if romance books are predictable. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. If you can hear background noise, I do apologize. It sounds like my neighbors are having a little bit of a party. They're having a live mariachi band, which, like, fun. They sound like they're having a great time. But I apologize if you hear any background noise. This is going to be another casual, chill video. I've just been in a really filming mood, and I'm going to be doing another romance hot take video. This was inspired by you guys, actually. I did a video on my channel. What was the video about? It was the video where I talked about what reading romance means to me. I talked a lot about, like, the stereotypes that the romance genre receives, and one of my lovely followers, Alicia, who I absolutely adore, had a very interesting comment that kind of spiraled into this video. I'm going to quickly read her comment, and then we will expand on that and kind of have a conversation about it. So she said, one of the issues people have with romance is its predictability. My first thought is there a problem with knowing how something is going to end? I take comfort in knowing I'm going to find a happy ending in each romance book I pick up. Also, anyone that says romance is predictable is not reading any romances. Each romance is so unique and different and tells a different story. That just really made me think, like, is romance predictable? Why does it have that stereotype? Why do people think that? And we're just going to expand on that, have a little bit of a conversation. In a very short answer, if you were to ask me if romance is predictable, I would say no. That would just be my simple, to the point answer. I do not think romance is predictable, and I do agree with Alicia that anyone who really feels that way is truly not reading many romances, and let's talk about it. Okay, so first of all, to say romance is predictable, I think the better wording and verbiage of that is certain romances do follow like a specific blue point, and I think it's not even like a blue point, it's more of what is the definition of a romance. The definition of a romance to me is that the main story needs to center around our characters' romance and their relationship development. There can be essential plots, there can be side characters, it can be a very lengthy series, but to the core, what the story is about is their relationship. And then at the very end of the book or series, our characters have to end up together. Okay, this is not a tragedy, this is a romance, so our characters are endgame. Now you can have either a happily ever after or a happy for now, and I've done many videos where I talk about each one. The core of it is that our characters end up together. The romance, not a tragedy. And then the literal definition of a romance, which is here on Google and also used by the RWA, it says this romance novel or romantic novel generally refers to a type of genre fiction novel which places its primary focus on the relationship, romantic love between characters, and usually has an emotional, satisfying, and optimistic ending. So basically what I said. That, I would say, is the definition of a romance and the quote-unquote blueprint of a romance. A lot of people tend to find that predictable because no matter how many conflicts you go through, no matter how many books are in a series, no matter how many third act breakups or love triangles an author is going to throw in there, if you're reading a romance, you kind of know that our characters are somehow going to end up together in the end. Now, do I find that predictable? No, absolutely 100% not, because there are many genres of literature and fiction and art that follow this very same blueprint. For some reason, because it's a romance book, and although romance reaches many corners of the earth, predominantly this is a women-dominated genre, and because, you know, women have so many stereotypes already, we just get thrown this one as well. I'm going to use a very simple example of a very similar blueprint that you see in mass media, and that is superhero movies. So we have so many superhero movies, whether it is DC or Marvel, and most of the superheroes have some type of origin story. They have some type of villain that they're going to go through a conflict. You have action, you have car chases, you have superhuman strength, but in the end, good prevails, evil fails, and the superhero always comes out on top. That is a literal blueprint, but people line up at the door to see Marvel movie after Marvel movie after Marvel movie. Why are we not calling that predictable? I'm a huge Marvel fan and just superhero fan in general, so that is why I kind of used that example. But even the same thing with like mystery and thrillers, they also follow a blueprint. Even genres like mystery and thriller, for the most part, you are going to find out who did it in the end. A certain blueprint in a lot of literature and a lot of mass media, but nobody else comments on those things. The author's goal truly, and like the whole reason they're writing this book, is to create a story to that happy ending. And those stories are vast, and there are so many different romance books, so many different stories and satisfying endings and different versions of happily ever afters. And maybe you'll find some similarities in certain subgenres, but for the most part, you genuinely have so many options. It's kind of bizarre to me that people lump romance books into just one like generalization, because do you even realize like how many subgenres that romance has? You have contemporary romance, you have YA romance, you have fantasy romance, you have paranormal romance, and then within paranormal romance you can have vampires, werewolf, fairies, sirens, mermaids. You have monster romances that you can have dragons and orcs. You have historical romance, and then within historical romance you can have different time periods like Regency, Victorian, Georgian, medieval. The list goes on. And even again with historical romance, you have Highlander, you have dukes, you have earls, you have different set of classes within the different eras. You have separate subgenres like Omegaverse and erotic novellas, and the list goes on and on and on. And not even touching the surface of how many subgenres that romance has. And then if you don't even want to talk about the subgenres, let's talk about the tropes. There are so many different tropes that a romance can have. Friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, office romances, fated mates, second chance romances, alpha heroes, age gap romances where the hero's older, age gap romances where the heroine is older, marriage of convenience, fake dating, sports romance, college romance. The list goes on and on and on. Again, not even scratching the surface of all the tropes. Literally sit here and talk about tropes all day. You have sapphic romance, surprise pregnancy romances, reverse harem romances, poly romances, Beauty and the Beast retellings, Cinderella retellings, just all the retellings, pirate romances, paranormal romances. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and name all the tropes, but the list goes on and on. So for you to say that with all those tropes and all those subgenres, romance is still predictable, babes, are you even reading these books? Like, the authors are really putting in so much work, so much creativity in these books that I have very rarely read one book to the other where I'm like, yep, these are the exact same. Even though I know the characters are still going to end up together, there is still their own personal backstory. There's an extensional plot, something that's going to keep our characters from getting together, something that they have to go through. Like, all of that, the meat and bones of the book is not predictable, and it's something that you go through with an author. And I feel like if a book is that predictable, it's more so, I don't want to be offensive by saying this, but I feel like it's more so a testament to the author's poor writing than it is the actual genre. And also have read literally hundreds of romance books, and I completely understand that I have not even scratched the surface of the genre. Just because you have read one or two popular books like Nicholas Sparks does not mean that you can take those experiences and generalize a genre that is literally a multi-billion-dollar industry. A multi-billion-dollar industry. Do you know that thousands and thousands of women that purchase romance novels with their very hard-earned money, you think they're gonna do all of that for predictability, babe? No, absolutely not. Just absolutely not. You know how many like detective shows we have, or like shows about narcos, and like you look on Netflix and you see all of these shows that are also very similar, and nobody is calling those predictable. No. Do you know how many movies are based on retellings like Romeo and Juliet, and stories that we have literally heard over and over and over again, and nobody calls those predictable? And again, for you to call this entire genre predictable, do you even realize how much romance is in mass media? Again, circling back to like those superhero movies, almost like every genre of fiction has some inkling of romance in it. Your favorite shows, I am sure there are some characters that have a side romance in it. All those superheroes, they have a leading lady or a leading man, some type of romance in it. And nobody calls that predictable. Have I gotten my point across that I don't believe romances are predictable? You know what? In these videos, I truly try to keep things balanced. Like, I try to give both sides to an argument because I just love doing that. But like, I genuinely cannot give a side to an argument that shows that romance is predictable because I can't see it. I can't see it. So if you think romance is predictable, that's totally fine. This type of video is really just a conversation piece. So leave your opinion down below if you agree with me or if you don't agree with me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much, Alicia, for leaving that comment and inspiring this video and this conversation. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the absolute world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye!